YouTube, how we doing? Pass the prop back here again, ready to rock and roll before All-Star break. What we got? This is our last big slate, 14 gamer. I mean, what more could you ask for tonight, man? We got every team pretty much rolling tonight. Join us always by my guy Stu. How you doing, man?
Yeah, and as far as I'm concerned, this is the last real slate before the break. Any basketball bettors know that last day before tomorrow's slate is it's brutal. It's even worse somehow. So today's going to be fun. We got a ton of action, ton of teams playing, a couple back-to-backs as well. Going to be some injury news, going to be a lot of crazy shit like that today. So you're going to have to stay strapped in. But I'm excited, man. I think it's going to be a good slate. A lot of good teams to bet on in this one.
Yeah, and I mean there's very few real big blowout potential spots, right? I think there's like 2 or 3 on this slate, which in today's NBA is pretty small, right? Out of 14. So hoping that we can avoid finding those blowouts again, because obviously one of my bets went down to the blowout on our last show, and we'll talk about those here in a second as we get it rolling here. Let's start off. I'll take my first L here, and that was this one. Anthony Simons absolutely cooking through 3 quarters. Then he ended up with 23 and then didn't play the fourth because they were just getting ran out the gym. That's the unfortunate part about playing a Denver team that is deep, right? They're a deep team. When Christian Braun is getting those second unit minutes to start the second quarter or fourth quarter in this instance, and he's just that much better than everybody on that bench, especially with Scoot out, especially with Jeremy Grant out, which I wasn't expecting either one of them to be out in that game. So again, tough when you do them early, but I thought they would stay a little bit closer. It was a close game up until midway through that third.
Yeah, no, I didn't end up getting to watch any of that one, but unfortunate with the blowout right there.
Oh, nasty blowouts.
Yeah, then this one wasn't a blowout. Like I said, it's much worse to watch Jordan Poole suck in person than it is over the computer screen. Normally I'm used to this guy chucking shots, missing wide open threes, but something about missing him in person hurts a little bit more, especially when Malcolm Brogdon comes in and just kind of only plays 14 minutes, and he just looks like a better version of Jordan Poole in those minutes. I have no clue why we didn't trade Brogdon before the deadline, honestly. That was kind of the biggest.
I think he's still good.
He is still good. I've been saying it the whole time. I like Brogdon as well. He just has no place on our team. Every single minute Brogdon's playing, it should be like a 19-year-old. You know what I mean? It should be one of these young guys we got. But that's besides the point. Poole just couldn't get anything going in this one. I think ended with 13 or something. The whole team had 10 points. It was a really good game, actually. They kept it close against the Spurs. They even had a really good crowd as well. It was almost sold out, which, I mean, for a team with 10 fucking wins, you don't see that on a Monday night very often. So I was happy to see that. I don't know what it is, but it seems like the crowd was energized there. I think a lot of people probably want to see Wemby. That's probably the
That'll probably do it, yeah.
Still good, but still good to get those kind of numbers in DC. I was happy to see that. So good game overall, but yeah, Poole did not get the job done right here.
Yeah, I mean, the volume was there early, and then, once it started not falling, we started seeing other guys put it through. Slows it down, right? That's about it. I told you guys, right? I told you, just if you don't want to watch it, just don't track it. Don't do it. Just don't. Because I looked after the first quarter, and it was 110, 111. I'm like, all right, whatever. I took the L there. I'm like, on to Anthony. And then all of a sudden, you got to remember they bring in their second guys. That second unit's running with Levine now, and you're getting Levine and DeRozan against backups of Dallas. Started seeing those guys pick up. Kyrie really sucked in the first quarter. Absolutely sucked it up in the first quarter, and then comes out for a second rotation and absolutely cooks these dudes. Shout out Kyrie, had his PRA in that game as well. And he ended up getting them there as well. And that spot goes to overtime. Obviously, flew over the actual total, but we ended up getting this one 61-61. And it was a fun game to watch if you're just a overall basketball fan.
Yeah, no, I tailed this one. Anytime we can get a new total, go like this is a prop show, So if you're coming on here with a total, I know you're feeling good about it as well. So had to lock that in, and yeah, got the job done.
Yeah, just don't watch on some of those, man. Like
You don't have to tell me twice.
Yeah, dude, just don't. Well, it was actually a good game to watch, but I mean, don't go on like DK or FanDuel and just like see where it's at. Like, don't do that. I've done that to myself, and again, I'm trying to eliminate getting that gray hair early, bro. That'll do it. That'll be the quickest way to do it. Is just sweating on every single bet, every single point. It's rough out there. And then late game.
Yeah, then this was a bad end to the night, unfortunately. Clarkson didn't get the job done right here. Ended with 5 points exactly, missed a free throw, and went 0 for 3 from 3 in the first quarter. So the volume was there. He ended at 5. Couldn't get the job done, unfortunately. And that game sucked in the end, too. I mean, the Lakers just freaking destroyed him. So, unfortunate right there. But the volume was good. I'd play that, 100 out of 100 times. But didn't get the result we wanted. And that's very possible when you bet guys like Jordan Clarkson, who do kind of suck sometimes. Same with Jordan Poole. You know what I mean? You get the volume you want. I like the bet. I feel comfortable. But it's like these guys do kind of suck at the end of the day. And that's part of the equation when you take the bet. So unfortunate, but, Variance got us back right here with the missed free throw.
Yes, sir. It moves us to 10-7 overall in our straight bets, 4.95 units. I also took off for our long shot spots on there as well. LaMelo ended up getting hurt for me after 4 assists in the first quarter. I was feeling damn good about that one. I put a little bit more than a half unit on that one, too. I was feeling pretty good. And then I just see he goes down. I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude. Like, every time. And so that was tough to watch that. But we have a huge slate today, guys. We have a huge slate. Stu, let's just start off with your favorite game. We'll try to make this one kind of in that medium spot, right? We might not go with a full hour, but it might be a little longer than 20 minutes with a 14-game slate here tonight. Last real NBA show before All-Star break, and we're gonna have to start talking some college basketball maybe on Friday.
Yeah, okay. Or it might be a much needed day off. Okay. We'll see what's going on. But yeah, for me, I was kind of joking. I mean, it's going to be hard to just watch one game today. I think the early slate, though, that Spurs Celtics game, I was joking in my Discord. I think that's going to set the record for most 3-pointers made by 7 foot tall and above guys. Wemby and Porzingis chucking threes against each other because they're both kind of the same archetype of like huge, gigantic guys that they get in the paint, but they've been shooting a lot from outside and neither are, they don't really want to mess with each other in this one. So I think that dynamic of Wemby versus Porzingis is going to be really fun. Like for me personally, just as a fan, seeing how those guys kind of interact with each other. So that game definitely caught my attention. But I'm going to be flipping through a billion today, obviously. But I think that's what I'm very interested in watching.
Yeah, that'll be fun, right? That's going to be a fun one to watch. Obviously, Wemby, the up-and-comer. Porzingis was kind of that guy, right? He was that unicorn first. So it'll be a fun game. With some big dudes going back and forth. Looking for me, I mean, I guess a little bias on these just because I really liked when Trey went to New York the last time. So a little bit biased there looking at old ones, even though it might not be the best game right now. It's still going to be fun to watch Trey go out there. Again, I think my favorite game overall is going to be that Bulls-Pistons game, bro. I'm going to be all over that game. The amount of money I lost last night on Cade Cunningham because I just beat him by 80, it was disgusting. But I'm going right back, bro. You can't have a long memory in this, man. I'm going right back. Huge total again, and I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, no, I mean I have a bet in that game as well, so I'm definitely with you. I think we both enjoyed the dumpster diving a little bit, and that is obviously kind of the prime game to do it in. The only problem with the Bulls is they traded for all these stupid, dumb role players that are worth really nothing. And so now they have 15 guys in their roster that are all the same level of talent. Like they have guys that deserve to be in the NBA and deserve to be getting minutes somewhere, but they can't actually distribute those minutes because they're all just like mid-level to slightly like below average, like tiered role players. So it's really hard to bet that side of it in kind of any game, but That's my one criticism. It's like, I love those guys. I love the young kind of up and coming teams that have all these, random pieces, but they have too many after the deadline now. They didn't consolidate like most teams. They added more useless guys. When am I going to bet on Trey Jones? When am I going to bet on Zach Collins? Like, probably never.
You don't want to bet on Kevin Herter, bro?
Maybe, but not if he's playing 14 minutes.
He doesn't play enough. Yeah,
if he plays on a real team where he gets 26, hell yeah, I'll bet Kevin Herter. I'd love a white guy that shoots threes. That's a fun thing, But you can parlay him with Luke Kennard, have a theme going. But no, he plays 14 minutes. He's stuck in purgatory, and that's exactly what the Bulls are. They're freaking purgatory.
Yeah, it's tough to watch that team outside of their top 4 or 5 guys in the rotation. They got some dudes, right? I like Dosunmu. I'm a Vucevic fan, right? Why I love Vucevic, because he don't play a fucking lick of defense. He's a good offensive player. Like, he is great. I love that guy. So I'm looking forward to that game tonight. Anything else you want to talk about before we get into bets? I'm not seeing anything in the chat yet either. We got 15 of you guys in here starting your Wednesday off with us. We appreciate you. Anything else, too, before we get going?
I don't think so. I mean, I'll just say, obviously, be careful with injury reports. In general, you'll see a trend from my bets today. When in doubt, play the young player. Don't play the old player. The old player is probably more likely to sit, like at the most baseline level. You know what I mean? If things do get crazy, there's so many questionable tags out there that, just be a little bit careful and be safe today, because you can obviously get burned. But outside of that, if you have any questions, make sure to drop them in the comments, and we'll obviously get to them over the course of the show. 14 games, a lot to talk about today.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's get it going. So I'll kick it over to you. We're both going to have a bet in this game. I'm looking forward to hearing what you got in this guy.
Yep, sounds good. In the chat, I see some Malik Beasley love. I'm going in a little bit of a different direction. Malik Beasley, he's been obviously knocking down threes, been very efficient recently. But that's not really the kind of guy I look to bet on. For me, I like versatility. I like guys that are able to do multiple different things. And honestly, I love people that get it done on the defensive side of the ball. I think defense kind of earns you minutes on offense. Thompson was a beast in that game. 4 steals, 2 blocks. The guy was creating mayhem. But what did I talk about when we played Thompson just a couple of days ago on the show? It's so matchup based with this guy because he doesn't shoot any threes. And that pains me. I love betting on guys that are chucking up a high percentage of threes. You like the volume. You like the opportunity. Thompson plays completely different. He's a transition guy. He gets out and run. They trust him as a secondary playmaker. This is a guy that's averaging 6 to 7 potential, like 6.5 potential assists over his last 5 games. And he's still only priced at 2.5 assists, despite the fact that he's constantly hitting this as kind of a secondary playmaker. They like the ball in his hands. We've seen it with both Thompson twins. These guys are elite athletes. You like them in transition. You like the ball in their hands because they can make plays. If they're not going and dunking it, they'll find a guy out on the 3-point line. So that's why I added assist. I do think that there's some upside as like a secondary, tertiary playmaker. We know Thompson is able to do that. It's just more, they've got a crowded room. And the thing about Thompson is just his minutes are never going to be super, super high. But if you look at it last game, he only played 22 minutes. He was actually on track to probably play 28 to 30 in that one, but the blowout kind of upended it. So if you look at a lot of his recent minutes, you'll see 22, 23, 22. Last game, he was actually on pace for a much bigger workload. He just wasn't able to go there with the blowout. He still cashed this easily with the blowout. He had 20 points and assists in this game, had a very nice performance as well. They're running it back. It's obviously the same matchup once again. It's soft interiors. That's what I look for, honestly, with both Thompson twins, but especially Osser right here. I'm looking for soft interiors, and you touched on it earlier. Doesn't play a lick of defense. That's exactly what we're looking for. They also guarded him with Matas for almost all of that game. Oh, hell yeah. That dude's like 85 pounds. Give me that dude 10. I mean, these guys are the same archetype of player, the skinny, kind of point forward, versatile wing. Osser just has a little bit more time under his belt. He's a little bit more experienced, and Matas is a guy you can absolutely bully into the paint. We saw it multiple times last game, and I expect to see it again. So I like the combination of points and passing right here. I think it's a good number, and I'd play it up to 13.5 as well.
Love it. Love it. Love it. I will be in that game as well. I'll be playing the first half again. I'm going to be going. It's at 120.5 right now. Give me a good number. Like this spot. Obviously, looking at pace, right? The Bulls used to be one of the slowest teams, right? They used to be one of the slowest teams. I think that was 2 years ago, right when we started the show. I mean, we were betting Bulls unders, Right? That was what, when we started the show 2.5 years ago, man. We're playing unders every game, right? They completely flipped. They are now third in the NBA right now in possessions. Detroit not too far behind at seventh in the NBA in possessions per game. So love to see that. Also, we didn't get a ton of minutes, right? I don't have to worry about back-to-backs too much here. Not a far travel, first off. Second, yeah, I mean, half the starters played 30 minutes or less, right? I mean, Cade put up all those numbers in 29:50, right? It was pretty quick to see that. Obviously, I love Duren against Vooch. I love that matchup. I also like Vucevic against Duren on the offensive end. So we get the bigs being able to kind of do whatever they want because the other guy cannot stop it, no matter which way you put it. Love Asar Thompson in transition. But I mean, how are you going to stop Cade, man? I don't see how this is going to happen. Like I don't see how this happening there. Malik Beasley's on a heater. We already saw someone talk about that. He's been hitting shots. Tim Hardaway's been hitting open shots. My thing is there's no way in hell we see the Bulls shoot that bad again. Like that was one of the worst attempts at shooting I've ever seen. And they weren't even bad looks. They just could not make anything, right? They scored 63 points in the second half. I understand. If you want to play a little devil's advocate, that it was probably a lot of backups, but still, you saw a 64-point third quarter. But all the starters were in there, right? That's kind of what I expect here. A little bit more of that type of run. If you want to look at on the season, just like scoring wise there for first half numbers, I usually don't have to pay a tax this high on these guys just because they're playing each other and the pace can be there. But 58 points per game in the first half for Detroit, 57 for Chicago. It's just when I have two teams that are actually willing to run like these guys, it's going to make it a lot easier. And then you go to Chicago, 61 points per game allowed in the first half, right? You go defensively, 61, that's atrocious. Absolutely atrocious. And a lot of these teams aren't running, obviously, as fast as Detroit. Go over to the Detroit side. Yes, they have been great. And mind you, they're still allowing 58 points per game in the first half. And how big of an outlier is last night? They were probably 58.7 through that. And then you allow a 29. That'll bring it down a little bit. So I really like the spot. Both teams really not interested on the defensive side. We're going to see a lot of three balls. I think the Bulls shoot better, obviously, in a home matchup here. And I don't think there's any way the Bulls can slow down this offense. That is the Detroit Pistons here. So I love this spot. I think this is going to be quick. And I don't think there's really a matchup for a lot of these guys, which I would go to a lot of these guys to bet, but why not just take the total? Why not just go with the points?
No, I agree. I think there's a lot of mismatches on both sides. You look at the Bulls and you like point at reasons why. They used to be such a like mid-range, obviously dependent team with DeMar. They kind of carefully took their shots. Now they're this like small guard lineup that doesn't have much size outside of now Buzilius, who's in there now, who's like he's got size, but he's not like strong. He's not stopping anyone. Then Vucevic is in like a defensive center. He's not the guy that's going to patch it up together. So it's just like there's opportunities to exploit all over the place. And when you have well-rounded scoring team on the other side that kind of gets, Cade as their leader, but gets pretty even production from everyone else, it's a pretty good matchup to exploit. So definitely agree, and definitely going to be running this first half over with you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably going to have a bet on Cade, right? I'm probably going to, but like everywhere else, it's tough just because how many times have we been burned on Jalen Duren just because of minutes, right? Just because he doesn't get – if he gets 30 minutes, bro, it's an absolute hammer lock. We're playing this dude. But, dude, how many times he's playing 26? Like, he is such a good per-minute guy. Every minute that he is on the floor matters, man. Like, especially fantasy-wise, especially when we're looking for these points rebound numbers. Those minutes really, really do matter, especially when a guy's grabbing a rebound every damn minute, it feels like, down there in the paint against these guys. So, yeah, Luke talking about Beasley definitely has been great. Been looking really, really good. Before we get to our last two plays, we got our boy Thomas popping in the chat. What's up, boys? Liking Walker Kessler over 11.5 rebounds. The Lakers have nobody at center at this point. I think they're going to ask Bynum, hey, give Andrew Bynum his love, bro. He was a fucking monster here in Milwaukee, bro. He was actually really fucking good to come out of retirement. I'm sure that dude's got no knees left. But I mean, it's a tough spot. Again, I saw Christian Wood still out. I don't think that's
He's out forever. I think they cut him yesterday.
Yeah, I saw on the thing it said out on DK. I didn't go dig in there, but I had a feeling it wasn't a short term thing there.
Yeah.
I think what they got Jackson Hayes there still, and then they just picked up Alex Len.
Yep.
Not a murderer's row, we should say. A big man down in the paint for this Lakers team.
DC legend Alex Len, what a guy! Shout out to him. But yeah, no, I don't know. The problem with that one is Kessler's a good matchup. Everyone was on it last game and it kind of failed. The blowout's still a possibility. The spread has come down a lot, so that makes you question: is Luka going to play? He's questionable right now.
I mean, I feel like it would be a little bit more towards LeBron, wouldn't it? After he hurt his knee,
both of them, yeah, exactly, both of them.
I think they might give Luka.
Yeah,
I think they might just say, "Hey, Luka, just run up your score here, run up your talent, just put up like a 40-point triple double here, dude."
Yeah. So if one of those guys misses, I like it more because then you get a more competitive game, you know. But yeah, this is an injury report kind of game because I like Hachimura in that one, but it's like, I don't know what's what the situation here is yet because, yeah, LeBron at the end. And, like, I assume Luka plays because you brought him back. Like, you probably don't just sit him, but he's questionable. You know, it's not for nothing. So both of those guys, Coop says he wouldn't be surprised if LeBron sits. I definitely agree with him on that one as well. It's kind of a tricky situation, but it probably does make Kessler better.
Yeah, I have a feeling it'll be LeBron just because we saw it at the end, right? It was at the end of the game, and they were out of hand. I get it, but you know, going into the All-Star break, you know, he's going to be running around All-Star weekend. They should take care of business. You just saw the same matchup, and they just absolutely murdered these dudes. So, should be a pretty easy one. What is the odds on that, Fam? I'd be interested to see the odds. I'm sure they're not great just because he's been really, really good on the glass. Socrates. Yeah, Edie's kind of the same way. We need those 25 minutes. I do not trust Memphis. Only thing I trust Memphis to do is score points. I don't know who's going to score them. I don't know how they're going to score them, but I know they're going to score because they just run. So I don't I just hate betting on individual guys on the Memphis Grizzlies, bro. Last night I got very lucky. I bet Desmond Bane because I thought his line was off, and I took a 29.5 PRA. Dude sucked the entire first half. Gets 230, right? And some books had 30.5. Gets 230 with like 4 minutes left. Did nothing. He didn't get me anything else to finish. So he finished one over, and I just felt terrible. So it was just they're so hard to bet, dude.
Yeah, the only thing I grabbed was some jaw points, but you don't feel good about anything with them at full strength. Like everyone's involved. There might be some injury. I saw GG and one of the other bench guys is questionable, so that could be interesting. But yeah, it's a tough team to bet when they're running like a full rotation, and everyone's actually pretty solid on that team as well.
Yes, sir. Let's get to it. We got plays 3 and 4 coming up. Let's go into the game we were just talking about there with our guy. Arizona. This is Washington, right? This is Washington guy. Why? Yep. Well, who am I thinking of? George? Isn't it the other guy for Utah?
Yeah, I was gonna say we've got 8 Georges in the league.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm like
confusing as hell.
No, I thought you spelled it wrong, to be honest. And I'm like, I'll let you go then, and we'll see.
Yeah, you thought Keontae was Keyshawn. Yeah, no, it's fair. It's tough now. Paul, Keontae, Keyshawn. There's too many of them. But I do like Keyshawn George a lot in this one, over 10.5 points, minus 110. I was going to talk about it front, but I figured I'd save it. For me, I think he was the most impressive part of actually being live and watching the game. George kind of got drafted, a bit of a three-point shooter, outside guy with some like connective secondary playmaking skills, but young as hell. So pretty raw in that aspect. You don't really trust him as like a ball handler. For me, one of the most immediate things I noticed with Kyle Kuzma out the lineup is, one, he's playing a shit ton of minutes, which is exactly what I want. I want these young guys and these rebuilding teams where we have actual reason to play Keyshawn George 30 minutes every single night. This is a guy that you want as a role player or as a rotation piece of your lineup, 3-4 years from now, as you're building up your young core. And so you're incentivized to play this guy as much as possible. And we've seen exactly that since Kyle Kuzma left. High 30s in each of his last 2 games. He played 30 against the Nets, then 35 and 36. In tough matchup, right? It's Cleveland is not a good matchup. Brooklyn is slow. That total was low as hell. If you remember, it was like 216 or something like that. And then obviously the Spurs last game where he had a bit of an inefficient shooting game. What I like though is the 3-point volume is going to be very good. We've seen 6, and 7 3-point attempts taken. George started out the season kind of below average. He was drafted as a 3-point shooter and he wasn't making any threes. So it's kind of like, what are we doing here? Over the last 15 games, he's shooting over 40% from 3. When you look specifically, he's shooting 47% from catch and shoot threes. When you look at the defensive side on the other side here, catch and shoot threes is actually what we're looking to target a little bit. They're kind of middle of the pack. What they're good at is guards that can create their own shot. Obviously, those pick and roll guys, the pull-up jumpers, they're very good at eliminating pull-up jumpers. To me, that sounds exactly like Jordan Poole. It sounds like Malcolm Brogdon. What they're doing is kind of the leaders of the team. I think they get much tougher matchups. For me, the guys I'm looking for are dependable, higher volume guys that are able to, shoot 10 to 15 times a game with, 6+ threes. I'm going to take that 10 out of 10 times when the line is only 10.5. And I was really impressed with George, his aggressiveness, attacking off the dribble, because this is a guy that I didn't see as someone that would maybe attack, but it's clear like Kuzma's gone. The coaches are clearly like, buddy, you're in the starting lineup now. This is the NBA. Go find your shot. You know what I mean? Don't sit in the corner. Like, go find your shot. And for me, I just don't think the sports books are really taking that into account, where we've got a new role for a guy that's playing high minutes. We're getting a good shot diet right here. And now we have a good matchup against the Pacers. So for me, kind of all the dots were connecting. I was looking at threes as like a parlay piece just because 1.5 is a really good number. It's like -162 on FanDuel right now versus like 2.5 plus money on the other spots. So if you want a fun combination on FanDuel, you can go Keyshawn George 2 threes, and then you could bring back Oscar Thompson for 1 steal, and you can get that around -110. I played that as a little bonus combination, kind of bringing my 2 players together right here, because I think George does most of his volume from 3. I just don't want to miss out on some of these like attacking closeouts and like being more aggressive, because that's what he's actually been doing over these last couple games. So 15 points against the Pacers earlier, took care of business as a role player. I think he does it again this time as a starter.
Yeah, no, I had him in DFS 2 days ago. It wasn't too bad. I think it was during the Spurs game. He did well, right? I mean, you got the flame, bro. You got the fire. So we like to see that. So I'm gonna be heading to a little bit more well-known guy. I know we got some guys in here that you're in it. You're in the weeds. You know Keyshawn George, whatever it is. I'm going with James Harden, bro. 32.5 points, assists, -120. We get a matchup with that Memphis team that I just talked about. The Memphis team that I don't trust. I trust them to run, bro. That's what I trust them to do. I trust them to have this pace, and let's get it moving here, because both these teams, I was really surprised to see the Clippers in the bottom 10 of this, but both these teams in the bottom 10 of fast break points allowed per game. So I think we could get a lot of those open court, fast-moving possessions here. Obviously, the Clippers are going to want to slow it down a little bit, but when you look at how many possessions we're going to be gaining in this game, Memphis is number 1, 107.5 on the season. We go down to the Clippers. I got to scroll a little bit. They're at 101.5, right? That's 6 possessions. That's a huge jump, especially for a guy like James Harden who's going to have the ball in his hand most of this game. Looking at the numbers, he's over 14.5 potential assists per game since Kawhi's come back. So I've just used the 14-game sample size. Obviously, that's an important one when you have a guy who's as heavy of a usage dude as Kawhi Leonard is. But still, we haven't seen him really push that 35-minute mark, right? Even in competitive games, it's still 30. James Harden's playing 38 a night, bro. Like, he is playing 38 minutes a night. And with the All-Star break coming up, we could see him push a 40 here, right? I mean, they're going to need this dude on the court, right? You get rid of Kevin Porter. I love Kevin Porter. Love to see him on the Bucks. I don't know how it's going to work, but whatever. We'll figure that out, I guess, as we go on. But, man, who's your backup, bro? Like, you got rid of Terrence Mann. You tossed out Kevin Porter Jr., who, as much as people don't like him, the dude's a high-usage dude on your second unit who actually gets shit done, right? And really helped Norm Powell in that second unit come through. Obviously, Norm Powell gets a little bit less run in the first quarter than comes in the second quarter. I watch a lot of Clipper games, if you haven't noticed. I watch a lot of them because they're on at night, and I get home from work later at night, and they're the only game on TV. So I watch a lot of clips. But going off that, my last thing that I want to talk about is we know that James Harden is a free throw merchant. Bro. He's a free throw merchant. And we get to go against an absolute awesome spot here. Memphis is bottom 5 in the NBA in personal fouls per possession at 20%, right? Mind you, if I go to just like personal fouls per game, they're going to jump up that list just based on how fast they play, right? So they're going to have a lot more possessions, get a lot more time. So that's why I went to percentage, and they're still in the bottom. They're still in the bottom. So I think that we're just going to see James Harden put on one of those clinics, bro. It's going to be him and Kawhi Leonard. If Harden decides, hey, I want to kick it, all right, we got threes. We got Norm Powell on the outside hitting threes. Derrick Jones Jr. has actually been a lot better than I expected him to be in that corner 3 role. But I just don't know how we stop James Harden in this spot, right? There's just no one there that I think that can stop him. Second off, I don't know how. If I could bet free throw attempts, I'd take it over 10 tonight, bro. Like, I really would. This dude's going to get probably two chances for 3 free throws because they'll follow him on a 3 because he does that little flop thing. Hey, flop away, bro. I usually don't like it, but I got to bet on you. I want you to do it. So I really like this spot. Like you said a little bit earlier, we were talking before the show. I think Edie Zubac kind of go at each other there. You get Clark Zubac if you want. You can get Triple J and Zubac down there too, right? Those are a little bit tougher, right, on the offensive end for Zubac there, and who's actually been really, really good this season. So sign me up. I think Harden's going to have to carry a lot of this today. Really like the potential assist numbers. I really like this spot, right? I mean, this is as fast as you can go. And I think James Harden will very much oblige to that. And I think it's more of an advantage for him in like a Norm Powell than it is for a Kawhi Leonard, who's going to be having to freaking gas himself up to try to get down the court in enough time. So really like this spot. Love this spot for James Harden.
No, I like what you're saying about the increased fast break possessions from both sides as well. You obviously know that Ja will get out and run, that the Grizzlies in general will like that style of play. And so it's good to Clippers will match that tempo a little bit there. So definitely like the look. Obviously, big James Harden fan whenever I can, bet on him in a pretty good spot because when he gets to score and you get good games, and he's one of the few guys that can give you upside in both categories, right? There's only a handful of guys in the league that can give you 15 assists, and James Harden is definitely one of them.
Yeah, you don't even have to go that far back, bro. I think it was last game. He had 17. Yeah. Right. That's why. Like, I haven't. The tough part is I don't want to go. I usually play PRA on James Harden, but unless he's like getting close to a triple double, it's tough. Bro.
Yeah.
Right. Unless he's getting close to it, I don't think he's going to try.
That 3-point line.
Right. He wants to go out there, stay out there, and guess what? He doesn't have to sprint back. Just give me a nice little jog back. I got work to do on offense. I ain't trying to play on defense there, bro. Come on now. So just you can live bet a Harden rebound. If you see him at like 3 or 4, boy's getting 10. Like that guy's going for that double-double on that and probably pushing the triple-double. So looking at the numbers already, even there, it was minus 185 on DraftKings for a double-double on James Harden. It ain't from rebounds, bro. It's from those assists. So just another thing to throw in there. They're obviously very much expecting him to get to that 10 assist mark. So let's get it rolling. Let's get a quick recap here, Stu, and then I'm having to check off for a long shot here, but we'll get it going.
Sounds good. We got 2 young guys. First up, we got Washington, Keyshawn George, over 10.5 points, minus 110, widely available. Then we got Oster Thompson, over 12.5 points plus assist, minus 120, 365, MGM, Caesars, all those books. I played up to 13.5.
Beautiful. I'll be on James Harden over 32.5 points plus assists. Minus 108 on FanDuel. Shout out Socrates for dropping that in here for us. Bulls first half over 120.5 at minus 110. Stu, what you got for us here on this long shot for today?
Yeah, I mean, my guy in the chat, Matt Williams, he kind of teed me up already right here. We're going Klay Thompson to knock down 5 threes at plus 350 right now. Best price looks to be at bet 365. 4.5 threes, or actually FanDuel has the best price. Shout out FanDuel at plus 350 right here. Klay Thompson has had 6 and 7 threes in both of his games against his former team, the Golden State Warriors. This is one of the strongest revenge angles you can get in the league because this guy was a fucking superstar in this city for 10 years. This is his brother. It's fucking Splash Brothers. This is Klay Thompson. He wants to shoot 10 threes no matter what. He's done it in both games against his former team so far. You trade away Luka Doncic on this team. It's Klay Thompson and Kyrie Irving now. Kyrie Irving has a bit of a tough matchup in this one stylistically from when you look at what both these teams try to do. I don't see why Klay doesn't knock down another 5 threes in this one. I really don't. I know it's popular. I'm sure a lot of people will be betting Klay Thompson today. He just had 5 threes in his last game. He had in both games earlier in the season. It doesn't take a fucking genius to put all the pieces together. I don't care. I want to be on this side. I want to be on the Klay Thompson revenge game side. The guy's a great three-point shooter in a matchup where I think that's going to be needed. I think if you put all the attention on Kyrie Irving, it's tough for this team right now. And who's going to step up? Who's the logical guy? It's Klay Thompson. I can't think of who else is going to take that offensive burden. PJ should be back in, obviously, but still, that's not a guy I really trust in a high-volume role. Ever. So yeah, I like Klay Thompson. I like the threes. There's just a lot of positives right here. So I'm gonna be riding with the public maybe in this one.
All right. I'm just gotta check a couple just quick injury here thing. So damn. I was really wanting to see that, but I'm gonna still play it anyway. I'm gonna be playing a quick little parlay, a little long shot parlay, just because. You gotta know I went to 200s last time, bro. That ain't me. I ain't usually a guy around the 200 mark. So I want to make sure I get that up today. So I'm gonna parlay some stuff. We're gonna get after a little bit here. I'm gonna go to Naz Reid to score 25 points tonight against my Bucks. I think this is the absolute perfect spot. Like if you're gonna probably tell me that he's gonna get guarded by Bobby Portis, bro. Bobby Portis ain't playing a lick on the 3-point line, dude. This dude has to carry everything without Giannis. I saw a questionable tag on Dame. Could very easily see that. True.
Midday too, right?
Yeah. What'd you say?
I said that was like a midday morning questionable too.
Yeah, I think it was a morning one.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go to him in this spot. Love the spot. I'm going to go to Sabonis, 16 rebounds tonight as well. I like getting that. It's like plus 150. I saw it's moving a little bit too. So grab it while you can. I like this spot just because Sabonis, I want to play the triple-double, but what's been happening is there's just too many dudes. There's too many dudes for assists right now. They're just not getting them up. And, all right, now you know your Sabonis. You got to put your numbers up. We've been just seeing some massive rebound numbers, right? 11, 13, 14, 16, 15. Now we get a great matchup against the Pelicans. I still don't think they're going to blow them out because this Kings team doesn't play, again, any defense. Doesn't matter. A lot of long-range threes. I think if you're going to have to trust Levine or Monk to grab these boards, I think we're going to grab a lot tonight with Sabonis underneath in this spot. You get Messi down there. You get a couple other guys down there that are not going to be. I mean, if they got all these dudes out, we could see Jeremiah Robinson Earl in this game.
Yeah,
kidding me? If I'm DeMontis Sabonis, I'm pulling Angel Reese, bro. I'm throwing that ball off the fucking backboard and grabbing it again, dude. Just throw it off there. I'll get 10 offensive rebounds. Give me a 40-40 tonight, bro. Just grab 40 rebounds. You could easily do it because there ain't nobody stopping this guy in the paint if he wants to score. But he's always there for rebounds, man. Like it is pretty ridiculous, like the numbers that him and Jokic like put up on a regular basis for like rebounding chances a night. Yeah. Like it is pretty absurd. But on the year, he's at 24.3 on the year. Second place right now is Isaiah Hartenstein with 20.5. He's 4 ahead of everybody else. So really like the spot here, dude. I can't get away from Naz Reid tonight either.
No, I like the combo. I mean, yeah, Naz Reid is kind of perfect for that matchup for what they are, with how they allowed those outside threes, those outside shots to bigs. Like Naz Reid is literally, I don't know if there's a better guy in the league, honestly, to kind of take advantage of that with the way they play. It's like a big, like Vucevic is one we always talk about, but Naz Reid is way like more modern, faster paced version of that, athletic. So yeah, I'm a big fan of the Naz Reid spot. I wasn't thinking about him too much tonight, but I got to figure out a way to bet him now. I'll definitely be.
Oh, Naz Reid should absolutely eviscerate this defense.
Yeah.
There's no way he doesn't.
Nobody.
I don't know who's going to play the 4 in this spot. Like, you can't really put Torian Prince on. I'll post his ass up. Put Gobert on the 3-point line and let him post up Torian Prince. You body him. Like, it's going to be gross. But hopefully Dame plays so this stays close because Dame's been on a fucking heater. Even when they lose, man, it's just fun to watch Dame kind of just cook when he gets a chance. So, anything else to do for you before we head out today?
I was curious what you thought about Klingon double today because you mentioned Jokic and it looks like Aiden's already out. I like the Jokic side, but Jokic, like, those boys look like they don't care that much. I don't know.
No,
like,
they just kind of mess around a little bit.
It's tough. So I'm like,
I just don't trust minutes, even with him out. I don't trust minutes
really?
unless Robert Williams is out too.
Yeah, I don't know if he is officially.
I'd check him. If he is, then I'll fucking unload on that because then he's guaranteed like 28.
He's questionable, so we'll know like 5 minutes before the game. Sucks. Yeah, but I think Klingon like double, I think I could get to if that happens. But then they got Duop behind him, I guess, too, as another annoying guy. But whatever. I just figured I'd throw that out there because I like the Jokic look. I want to play something in that game, but like. I just can't, like, this close to the break. They already look like they're just kind of like goofing around a little bit. Like
they really do. They really do. Like they don't really give a shit because they're just they know they can turn it up whenever they really want to, you know?
Yeah. See Flan Fam shout hoods. I appreciate that, man. It's cold as hell here. PPS texted me earlier that it was snowing. It's snowing here too. We got like 6 inches of snow and I had no clue it was happening. So that was a little bit unexpected, but yeah, it's that time of year. I thought we were done with the snow, but apparently not.
Yeah, no, it's still coming down here a little bit. It's supposed to come down all day, but just people, you know, when they start getting in that zone of not having to drive with snow, and now they do, and they're fucking awful, dude. I had this person I was going like braking every 2 seconds, like, bro, it's not that bad. Like, figure it out. You live here, like you willingly picked to live here. Figure out how to drive in the snow. Like, figure it out, dude. I'm getting tired of these people that fucking break every 2 seconds just because there's snow on the ground. Like, come on now. Let's go. Figure this shit out, dude. I ain't trying to take 45 minutes to go 4 miles, bro.
Yeah, no. We get that problem here, but it's like deserved because it's DC. Like, people aren't built for it. You know, it's different out there. You guys should be ready for this.
Yeah, no, you're here, bro. We're up there, so. Anything else, Stu? You ready to roll out or anything else before we get to what? This is the last one before the All-Star break, I believe.
Yep. Yeah, just make sure to drop any questions you got in the comments below. I'll be firing off probably a lot of plays close to tip tonight as we get a better idea of maybe some of these Robert Williams kind of situations, stuff like that. So make sure you're following over on Twitter. If you like everything, make sure to join the Discord as well. And yeah, you know, hopefully we're just going to keep on winning some bets right here, keep on building some momentum on the show. So if you haven't already, leave a like. And yeah, let's keep it going. Let's keep on winning some bets.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We'll talk about Friday. Maybe we'll do a little college, a little bit of something else too. We got a huge Saturday slate for college. So we can talk that as well. I didn't even look if there's a UFC card this weekend. I don't even know. So I haven't got that far. There's too many games this week, bro, for me to think ahead. So should be good, though. We'll be back, ready to roll. Just make sure you follow both of us over on Twitter. Have those notifications on there so you know if we're going to go live Friday and when we are. And, yeah, good luck on all your bets tonight, guys. A lot of action. Make sure you're money managing here tonight. It's going to be a tough one. There's a lot of games, a lot of props I'm sure you're going to like. So pick your favorites and let's roll with them. So good luck tonight, guys.